Hey everyone, it's Rob Folia and Jessica Klein with Folia Properties, and we're coming to you live today. We're not going to share too many stats or graphs today, but instead we're going to have a simple conversation and go into basically 5 reasons why home sellers should take action now. And that's for home sellers who have really a motivation to do it. We're not telling everybody, hey, just put your home on the market randomly, but we want to throw it out there, especially to those who maybe kicked around the idea. Maybe you've got a rental property you thought about selling, or a second home, or you know what I'm saying. You ready to get started, Jessica?
Yeah, for sure. 5 things. Ready for the
Five,
countdown.
5 thing countdown, absolutely. And in no particular order. However, the very first one really is the inventory shortage. We've talked about this at length in a couple of other videos, so you can go back and check out the videos. We'll have more market stats to show next week when we have our new up-to-date stats with the month of October. And yet inventory levels are at really an all-time low. We've talked about it previously, how typically we see a dip in the amount of homes for sale around the holidays. However, that dip has started now. It started about 3 or 4 months early. And as a home seller, just think supply and demand. There's low
hmm
supply, so take advantage of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, fewer homes on the market, and we'll talk about how many buyers there are right now.
Oh, absolutely. There are a ton of buyers, and they're causing the second reason to take action, and that's the upward pressure. Easy for me to say, on price. And so basically, what that means is, because there are so many buyers to every home that's out there, it's making it to where, as long as a home is priced correctly and it's priced where it should be, we're able to get at least asking price, if not more than that. And because typically, in years past, when it's been this extremely strong sellers market that, we've talked about and real estate agents have talked about for years now, if a home didn't sell that first weekend on the market, a lot of times there wouldn't be multiple offers. Or if they did
hmm
come in, it was kind of very sporadic. Now we're still seeing multiple offers even 5, 6, 7 days after hitting the market. And that's causing, again, that upward pressure on price to make sure that we're still getting asking price if we're priced correctly. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, simple supply and demand. So if you're looking at that supply demand graph, you're getting increased prices, and that's great news for sellers.
Absolutely. The third reason to take action again now as a home seller is it's simple. It's less competition. When we talk about low inventory levels, you have less other homes that are competing for that buyer than normal. So if we're in a balanced market, and just think of a balanced market as something like, think of it almost like a teeter totter, right, going back and forth. If you have a truly balanced market, you have one buyer for every home seller that's out there. That's kind of balanced. Well, when it's going this way and there's a ton more buyers than there are homes for sale, that means you've got less competition, and that just puts you in a better spot as a seller, right?
Yeah, and that drives that price that we talked about too. And not only price, I mean, when we're seeing these multiple offers, or sometimes when there's only one, the seller has a lot more leverage in terms of the contract. So closing date or inspections or whatever else, there's a lot more leverage there for the seller.
Absolutely. Every single listing of ours that we've had over the last few months, we get a phone call, or I shouldn't say every single listing, but the majority of them, we get a phone call from that buyer's agent who says, hey, we're ready to write an offer. When does the seller want to close? What does that look like? Because they want to make the offer as attractive as possible for the sellers. And that's because you have less competition as a seller, and and buyers want to be as as easy as they can on a seller, if that makes sense.
Yep, for
Um,
sure.
Number four, the fourth reason to take action now as a home seller, buyers, they're more serious right now.
Mhm.
I've often thought about and told home sellers in the past around the holidays that, now is when the serious buyers are looking, because while inventory levels tend to drop around the holidays, the buyers that are out there looking, they need to buy now. Buyers aren't going around on December 20th saying, hey, I want to just go, kick some tires and just go tour some homes. No, if they're out there looking for homes, they need to buy. And it's the same for right now. Buyers, because of just the conditions in the world, are not exactly just going out to just the quote unquote looky loos, the nosy neighbors. They're not just going out to go out. The buyers that are out there shopping, they're ready to buy. And so because of that, it's going to cut down on those superfluous showings as a homeowner, as a seller, and it makes the process easier, right?
For sure. And not only that, there's so much now because of the circumstances in the world. There are so many virtual options for buyers. I mean, you can walk through, like all of our listings, we do the scan of the home so they can physically, or it seems like they're physically walking through the home, so they can do that. before they even decide to come see the home. So they're very serious when they actually choose to see it in person.
Exactly, 100%. And then the fifth reason that we've identified as to why now is the right time to sell a home, it's really simple. The window is open for you now as a home seller, and that's going to change. I mean, every economic market goes through ups and downs and ups and downs. I mean, it happens. It's just part of the way that economic cycles work. And right now, we're at an extremely advantageous in an extremely advantageous position for home sellers to take advantage of the market. Again, if they choose to do it, we're not saying, hey, just put your home on the market if you don't want to, or to push you in some direction. And yet, the people who are out there who are really maybe pausing, maybe it's out of fear, whatever the reason may be. You have to realize that the window is open now, and this window isn't going to last forever. At some point, we'll see an uptick in inventory or a softening in demand. It could even be both at the same time, and that's going to cause the market to shift away from this extremely strong sellers market that we're in, and go back to maybe a balanced market, maybe into a buyer's market. Does that make sense?
For sure. And, I mean, we just got out of a national conference for Keller Williams, and some of the top agents in the industry are saying that, we know what's happening right now. And it's a great situation for sellers right now and for buyers, really, because of the interest rates. And we don't know what the future is going to look like. So if you're in a place where you're thinking about buying or selling, like, it really is like take action when you know it's good.
Exactly. And speaking of that conference, in fact, one thing that I took away out of that conference was really, really simple. It was they were saying how this basically this COVID period, whatever you want to call it, the last 6 months that we've been in, and then however long that's going to go until the world gets back to quote unquote normal, that could be just a little bit of a hiccup in the overall market trends that we were seeing. So, like, if you go back to the beginning of this year, the end of last year, we were starting to see it trend upward into becoming a balanced market again. It was no longer as extreme of a seller's market as we saw 2 to 3 years ago. And the only reason I bring that up is, again, about this window being open now, and it will be closing. This will be changing. Is experts think that it'll go back to that trend line that we were seeing 12 months ago or 9 months ago, and it'll go back to that basically that buyer's market when we get out of this, whenever that is.
Absolutely.
So just to summarize again, 5 reasons to take action now as a home seller. Inventory shortage. There's just a lack of homes, and supply and demand. If there's a lack of supply, demand is on your home's going to increase. Number two, the upward pressure on price. When there's that lack of supply and demand is increased, it's going to increase the price. The third one is less competition. You've got less other homes that are for sale competing for that buyer. So keep that in mind. Speaking of buyers, number four is that they're more serious today than they would be typically, just because they're not getting out to be that looky-loo. And then number five, the window is open now, and it won't last forever. So take advantage of it while strike while the iron's hot, so to speak.
Yep, definitely.
So as always, y'all, if you have any questions, give us a shout. You can give us a shout at 615-591-5665. Email us info@foliaproperties.com. If this video has piqued your interest, check out our YouTube channel. We keep all of our videos that we do every single week on that YouTube channel, so you can watch old ones and see how the market's trending. If you have a question about your particular neighborhood or your area, give us a call. We're happy to help, or comment below, email us. We're happy to help and get you taken care of and keep you informed. Because after all, that's the whole point of these videos. Keep y'all informed so you can make the right decisions for yourselves and for your families.
Absolutely.
So,
Thanks, guys.
awesome. I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
Bye.